Welcome back to Blueprint for Wealth. I'm Wayne Zell, and with me today is my very, very, very special guest, Bobby Castro. Welcome, Bobby. Welcome to the video cast.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, dude.
Today we're going to be talking about a few things, but I want to give you some background on Bobby because he really is the exemplification of an entrepreneur who's transformed from entrepreneur to leader. With only a ninth grade education, he founded one of the biggest financial lenders in the country, Bankers Healthcare Group, back in 2001 with his brother and an investment of 25 grand. And today he's reached a personal net worth of over $400 million. So he knows what he's doing. And he knows that above all, the key to scaling any business is leadership. He's a mentor to me and other entrepreneurs around the country. And he has been the leader of that company for at least 18 years. He instilled in the team something called PMA, which we're going to talk about, a positive mental attitude, and created a workplace environment that inspires top-level performance and unheard of revenue returns. So today we're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about PMA because I am fascinated by it, and I adopt that as part of my leadership and my strategy. Number two, I want to know Bobby's secrets to how he and his brother and his partner built BHG. And then lastly, I want to hear about what he's doing today, real estate. He is one of the largest real estate entrepreneurs in Southern Florida, and he's expanded his reach all around the country. So first, Bobby, welcome to the show. Thanks for being my mentor, because I really do look at you as a mentor in terms of how to treat people and how to be a positive influence. Where did you come up with PMA?
Well, first, thank you. That means a lot, especially coming from you. You know, PMA all day, every day. Believe it or not, it's trademarked. I trademarked it, not for any business or anything to that nature. It's so intimate to me. And PMA stands for positive mental attitude. And it sounds, okay, it's a statement. Yeah, it's a slogan. It's whatever you want to call it. But I truly 110% believe that in my spirit, my soul, my mind, my heart. And I look at everything, PMA, as a solution. And, you know, positive mental attitude, man, there's so many obstacles. And it's so good for you to say this, Bobby. I hear you talk a lot about it. But how are you always constantly about it? And the reason that I'm so addicted to it, because I'm receiving so many incredible, bright outcomes, because I look at everything as a solution. And it's amazing. I you know, my background, my mom, she's 81 years old today. She was a waitress. Before it was Denny's, it was called Sambo's.
Yeah.
And then she walked home from the graveyard shift, a couple hours or 3-hour rest, and then put an apron on and went to Pasquale's Italian restaurant for lunch on Red Road in Hialeah.
Wow.
And then a night gig at Roney Pub Steakhouse on 163rd Street. So I saw my mom constantly good people skills, dealing with all these personalities with the hopes of getting compensated an 18% gratuity. But then I seen the other side of a big family I have. My father has 14 children. He passed at 94 years old. Wow. His weakness, in my opinion, was a lot of ladies in life. That's where his energy was spent and invested in. And there was a lot of financial struggles. You know, we grew up on Section 8. We grew up struggling like a lot of people. We all have those stories. And if it's not one of us, you know somebody in your family that has gone through it or going through it.
Right.
And there was a lot of personalities, and I call it a lot of passion in my life, a lot of chaos, and it was a lot of negativity, a lot of bipolar, a lot of all these other names we call them. But it was really negative. And I'll never forget the day I left school at the 9th grade. And back then, Wayne, it was junior high. Today it's high school. I was 14 years old. A little over 14 years old. I was never, I don't think, a difficult kid. But I had always a lot of curiosity, a lot of questions. And I would always raise my hand in class. And a lot of teachers were just frustrated by it. But I didn't catch on to the question. I have to, even today, I have to always ask the question, and you know this personally,
yes, I
several
do.
different times, different angles, in
but
order
I love
for me
that about you.
to
You're
understand it.
You're always asking questions, and they're good questions.
And it's frustrating when someone's like, man, I just told you 50 times. And I think that's what happened with the teachers. And I just wanted to leave school because I felt like I wasn't worthy, I guess, looking back.
You do?
So I told my mom.
At the age of 14, what did you do?
So I went home. I told my mom I wanted, and dude, she gave me no heartburn. She said, Bobby, you could be anything you want to be. And she just said yes to it without saying yes. Even the school had an issue with it. But it was still, even today, my wow moment in life. She got me a job, and you have to be 16 years old back then to qualify for part-time. She got me a job at Pasquale Steakhouse as a takeout runner. And I'll never forget, my mother took me to Payless Kmart to get my outfit. And when I went to work, I was so excited. It was so like, wow to me. Then I went home and I saw the chaos. I couldn't wait to run back to work. I would wash cars. I would do everything not to. It was just chaotic for me.
Yep.
Slowly, I found this way of being positive because I found if I just work, I was feeling good about myself. I did make mistakes, and I'm fast forwarding many mistakes. I try to rush becoming rich overnight. I was addicted to classified ads. There was no internet back then. If you make $10,000 a month, 100 Bobby's, I had packages coming to my house. My mom used to see this addiction. And, a lot of lessons in life. But PMA, man, I practice it today. The business that me and my awesome wife of 31 years, we exited for $1 billion on our terms. And we started that with no money. It was actually, we started it from $1,700 that my mother-in-law, she's no longer with us. Back in the day, in the bra, they carried the beeper, the cash, the keys, and her entire life savings. Sophie's family was $1,700. And Dixie handed it right to me, dude.
Wow.
And that same business, we exited for $1 billion because somebody believed in me. Not to say others didn't, but she just gave me everything she had. And from a scale of 1 to 10, I was a 10 being on a not so good scale. If you looked at me back then, I'm a much better version today. I'm a better version today than yesterday. I constantly want to create better Bobby each and every day. And I'm so positive, man. I treat everybody as if they're important. And I notice when I go to even restaurants today and I see how people treat the hostess, the waitress, the valet parker, you can see that they're missing it. They're missing life so much. And I'm to the extreme that if I stay at a hotel, it took a while for my wife to get this. I would clean the room thinking about my mom. I would leave that room spotless and all the towels nice on the side. I just feel like everyone should be treated very important. Guess what? Yeah. I get rewarded every day. You never get a no from your customers, opportunities, relationships. People want to do business with you. And I kept seeing these outcomes and I became more obsessed about it. And then sooner or later, you become about it.
So, it's amazing how I can feel it through our recording, even though you're down in Florida most likely and I'm up here in Virginia. I can feel the energy coming from you. And that's the thing that I've always appreciated about you. And, you and your brother, who's also amazing, yep. You guys got together and you put together this incredible organization. How did you grow this thing with, the small investment that you had to, being an over $1 billion company? How did you do that? What are the secrets that you could tell other entrepreneurs, in addition to having a PMA, obviously treating every employee, every person with respect and gratitude? What did you do to grow this business? It's
amazing. I do it today. And when I consult businesses, it takes them some time to realize a simple thing. I look, and back then looked, and I continue to look at everything so darn simple, nothing complicated. I look at everything as a consumer, whether I'm selling something to a business owner or a consumer. A consumer is involved, meaning us humans. We know how we behave. We know what we like. We know what we can understand. We started lending money to doctors back then. And when I started the business, I gave 50% of the business to my brother, Eric. We're only 18 months apart. We're inseparable. You know, Eric, and I love him so much. And I knew right away my weaknesses. It comes in operations. I'm not the best in operations. I'm still not the best in operations. But my brother is simply superior in it. I said, Eric, I have this business. I'm going to give you 50%. And he just came aboard. We started doing equipment leasing for doctors, forklifts, industrial, restaurants. So if you needed some equipment back in the day, you would normally lease it, and there was a broker involved, matches the bank,
right,
and the vendor who's selling you the equipment, and you get a commission from the bank. Became very good at it because when I was waiting on tables, how this all started, I was at the Rusty Pelican waiting on tables on Key Biscayne, and then I had a day job, dude, selling memberships for the Better Business Bureau. And again, that Bobby Castro was getting all these classified ads. And I made a lot of mistakes before that, and I had to go back to waiting on tables. I had to become very humble. I had to stop rushing the process.
Right.
And I received this package, this business opportunity package in the equipment leasing industry. But at the same time, during my day job at the Better Business Bureau, I was calling on a company to sell them a Better Business Bureau membership. And guess what? It was the same company who I received the package from. So then, man, I was all revved up. I'm gonna get in those doors because I want to know about equipment leasing. It sounds like so fascinated. So I went in there, got the appointment. Older man in his late 70s saying, "Listen, I don't believe in this membership. I don't like this membership. I don't bring it. It brings no value." This was back in the day when it wasn't well respected. And he goes, "However, I'll buy this Donkey Kong membership under one condition. You come work for me." I said, "Absolutely."
So he got your passion right away.
Yep. And then I became good at it because I see my mother with the people skills and myself being a waiter where you got to deal with all these personalities. And how we grew this company, and today this company will do just under $300 million of net income. When I exited, we were doing $150 million in net income. Wow. It has 1,200 employees today. When I exited 2.5 years ago, we had 600 employees. The company today, valuations north of $5 billion. And I started talking to these customers, Wayne, and I started realizing they're really simple. The more I was complicating the sale or the process, the more questions came up and never a decision was made. And I started really simplifying it because I look at life, and you know me well in these meetings, I just look at everything so darn simple. And then I started realizing, dude, everyone else looks at it as simple because you can explain something very simple on a simple format. And my competitors were doing all this fancy dancy presentations, this and that. And I was just winning the business over and over, and the closing ratio just went up. Then you come to a point where you have to start scaling. Started surrounding myself with extremely qualified people that I was not qualified for. I became very humble years ago when I said my skill set is this, and I'm very good at this. I'm horrible at this. So let me go ahead and surround myself with the best I can find in South Florida, which was tough back in the day because everybody in technology and it was always in California and New York.
Right.
And we started growing this, and today that PMA, that culture, we instilled this PMA into our sales organization, in our operations. Today, with maybe 10 attorneys, maybe out of 1,200 employees, you're dealing with maybe 800 employees that are under administration and operations. And to get these folks to buy into this culture is not hard. As long as the leader truly believes it and practices it off the field. Everyone can pretend on the field, but you can't pretend when you're that energy. I can't explain it. Everyone thinks that, man, this guy is nonstop about this PMA. He's so cool. He's always so positive. Does he do Adderall? Does he do cocaine? I don't do no drugs, man. I do the life of drug. And because I just keep getting rewarded, and it's not about the money. The 400 million doesn't even feel like 400 million. I just love creating, and you build a culture that is unbreakable, and that's where the valuation comes in, because someone wants to buy an enterprise. It's not about Bobby Castro. Because
Right.
if it's only about Bobby Castro, it's worth zero.
Right.
And I knew that going in from my previous mistakes by seeing people overcomplicating it, more so not humble enough to say, you know what? I'm not a CEO. I was never the CEO. I'm not a president. I'm not one about titles, but I'm one that understands culture and understands how people behave, what
Yes.
the customer truly wants. And, it's a long-winded answer, but, we sold it because we created a culture that ran to work because they wanted it to work. They would have done it for free.
How's it doing without you there?
Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
And is it because you trained the people that are now running?
Leaders build leaders, period.
Right.
If you're a leader and you're really just not shoulder to shoulder and you're always in front of everybody, you're not going to build a culture. You may get away with it here and there, but if you're looking to build valuation and financial freedom, which is called wealth, that's what you're going to have to do is build a culture. Now, if you want to get rich, yeah, you can wing it all day long, but you're going to have to go to work on Monday.
Yeah, I got it. So here's my next focus for you is you had been dabbling in real estate for a long time, but now you're just like immersed again. PMA driving you into acquiring properties, managing them, negotiating great deals. How did you get into the real estate side of things, and why does that interest you so much? And lastly, the third part of the question is, what are you doing that's different from everybody else that makes you so successful in this? Because you are very successful. You're growing this real estate empire. I've never seen anything quite like it before.
Thank you. Well, growing up, we were tenants, and every time my mother would pay the rent, the landlord seemed like he was right back 24 hours later. He was. And when you ask the landlord, dude, I just paid you. No. You paid me because you owed me 2 months. You're still behind a month. So I always wanted to be that landlord because it seemed like it was so lucrative. And I grew up in a community called Hialeah, and there was a lot of garden apartments. And I always wanted to be in that position. And I've always just wanted to do that. And I have something called Stack and Rack. It's also trademarked. Stack means you save for the purpose of racking them, the savings, into investments. During those years, my wife and I, every time we made money, we racked them into, we started with the duplex, a single family home duplex. Today, this whole portfolio sits at $600 million plus with a leverage of 56%, very low leverage. It provides me and my wife, my grandchildren, a substantial amount of cash flow, north of $500,000-$600,000 a year or a month, including during COVID. And we kept just building up little by little by little. But the magic happened for me for being a lender. Check this out. Let's just assume your rents are $1,000 a month from your tenants.
Okay.
1,000 times 12 months in an annual lease is $12,000. Most landlords don't get this. You're lending, you're advancing this consumer $12,000. You have to underwrite the consumer just like if you would lend them $12,000.
Interesting.
The reason why we get a lot of our deals is because these people skills. People want to do business with people they like. We just closed last week a $123.5 million deal, $123 million from PCCP, huge, large institution. And in that area, institutions only want to play with institutions. Right. And here you go, a husband and wife team that we have never raised from no investors, raised no money. That's $600 million. We created it. Yep. And we were able to buy from them, buy from AIG, buy from these big institutions because we treat everybody as they're important. I don't pretend to be somebody that I'm not. And you have to go through these interview process. You have to get these off-market deals. You have to build relationships. And relationships are only rewarding if they're sticky. And how you have a sticky relationship is just like you and I throughout the years. You treat somebody with kind. The power of kindness, you never get a no, man. And all these egomaniacs, I always say ego's not your amigo. They just don't get it, and they're burning so much energy, and they're like a hamster on the wheel, and they're not creating value. So, we just closed one yesterday for $51.5 million. Bought it from Mill Creek, big institution, and FYI, another buyer who's substantially has more of a portfolio than us, and they're a fund, they offered $2 million more than us in the final bid, and we were able to get it for $2 million less.
And you attribute that to the way you treat people, the PMA?
Based on my personal firsthand, I'm 54 years old. I tried the other way, didn't work. I tried to be the ego, the flash dancer, try to get rich too quick. I only can say what worked for me and what didn't work.
So the secret sauce for entrepreneurs that they should be taking and using in their everyday activities is PMA.
You have to build a culture without it, and to build a company and scale, you need people, man.
Yeah.
And if the people are not buying into the culture, they can show. A blind person can see a fake person. How are you on and off the court? How are your core values at home?
Right.
And you start caring for your group, and you start treating them as partners, not as an employee.
Right.
When Sophie and I exited, we were so happy to say that some awesome people that helped us get there became millionaires because of the program we put in place. Your success is my success. And all I did was paid attention to these people that were helping us build, because the more I gave them this PMA, guess what, dude? The more they gave it to our customers, and 40% of those customers are repeat. That's a business. They keep coming back.
That makes the business extremely valuable. If they're one-off customers that come in and
then you're just a transaction.
That's right. It's exactly. They're just a transaction. So it's the repeat customers that keep coming back, again, because of the way you have trained your people to treat them. And they are all PMA.
Especially today, man. This is a competitive market, Wayne. And for you to poach somebody, to convince them to jump ship here, to come to your shop, you better have people skills. You better believe in your culture. You better believe this energy does not lie. It's contagious. And when you have it ingrained in you, everybody wants to do business with you. Everybody just wants to enjoy life, man.
I am so pumped right now. I've got to go talk to some of my new folks that just joined us recently, and we're growing pretty rapidly. Nothing like what you experienced, but to me, I'm learning from you. You're my mentor. You're the mentor to all of us because of the philosophy that you have, and it's a great philosophy.
And
it's
I think
something
we're all
that everyone
kind.
should
We're
have.
all cool, kind people.
Yeah,
but we're trying to be somebody we're not. We're just getting lost in the mix. And if we go back looking at life simple, man, we are. There's only one Wayne. Talk about supply and demand. What's going on with inflation today? There's one Wayne. Why not be that Wayne?
That's right. Well, be the right one.
Yes.
Be the right one. Well, Bobby, thank you so much for being a special guest on Blueprint for Wealth. Again, I'm pumped up. I hope the listeners and the people watching this are pumped up too, because if they want to know more about PMA and know more about what you're doing, how can they find out about
my son created my son Brandon. He's so awesome. When I exited, I didn't know anything about social media. He got me on Instagram. It's official Bobby Castro. And then I'm on LinkedIn, and he has me all this stuff. And once in a while, I splatter out some videos from my heart, because I know there's a lot of other Bobbies and Sophies out there, man. And if I did it, I'm the prime example. Anybody can do it.
Thank you. Thanks for PMA. Thanks for being you. And thanks for being on Blueprint for Wealth. And join us next time. I don't know if I'll ever have a guest quite as good as Bobby Castro.
No, I doubt that.
It was great today. Thank you so much.
Much love, dude.